but that's something you have to understand. Additionally, if you have an opportunity, if your practice is overwhelmed with patients, and many practices are, there are more patients than they can handle. You should start thinking about, are there certain pairs we shouldn't be seeing anymore, we shouldn't be contracting with anymore? Because if you could take the poor contract relationships, where you're not getting as much reimbursement, and drop them and replace those patients with better paid patients, you don't have to see more patients. You can just make more money just based upon the same volume. And now what happens, a lot of practices don't act that way. Don't act that way. I work with an orthopedic practice in New York. You walked into their practice and patients were hanging from the ceiling. I mean, it was like phenomenal how much volume they was having. But I said to them, are you making reasonable amount of reimbursement from each patient who's coming in here? Oh, I don't know. Well, we're just seeing all the patients. We're just seeing all the patients. And in fact, they weren't. So I said to them, you know, some of those Medicaid managed care practices they had were not paying very much. Why don't you drop them and pick up more Medicare patients or pick up more Blue Cross Blue Shield patients, and you will do better. Well, yeah, but some of our referring doctors like those patients, and I'm afraid if we drop them, they'll drop us, and generally they'll go to somebody else. Well, you got to make a decision in terms of how are you going to deal with the payers, because it's important to understand there's only so many hours in the day. The doctors are only going to work X number of hours. They're only going to see X number of patients per hour. And so it's a production line. How are you going to get the max out of what you're doing? Keep in mind, if you are in a primary care practice, the practice should be generating, on the average, per visit, somewhere between $95 and $105 per visit. If you're not generating that amount of money on a primary care practice, you're not making enough money. There's something wrong. Either you're not doing enough ancillaries, you're not collecting as much as you could, or you're seeing the wrong kind of patients. So those are all things you can have to look at. On the specialty practices, it varies by specialty how much you can generate. But in general, you should be making a lot more than that on a specialty practice per visit. You should, but in some cases I'm hearing they not. But the question is then why? You have to analyze why aren't we making more than that? You should be. Okay. Now, once you understand your CPT codes by payer, then the question is, how many patient visits, excluding any capitated patients, by insurance carrier? Give me an indication of which payers, like I said, are paying most, indication of which payers are not providing adequate reimbursement. And also based on that, what are you earning per visit? You should, even a specialty practice, should understand what you're earning per visit. You should have an understanding of, are you making enough? Is it reasonable? Are you making less than you did 2 years ago? You know, what's happening in this practice?